Born on 22nd April 1952 in the rural village of Siparia in southern Trinidad, Kamla Persad-Bissessar entered the world in humble surroundings that would later define the depth of her compassion and the resilience of her character. The little girl, who would one day become the first female Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, grew up in a wooden house surrounded by the cane fields and dusty roads of South Trinidad, a setting that shaped her awareness of the value of hard work and education. Her family's story was one of migration, perseverance, and faith, a combination that would come to reflect the broader story of Trinidad and Tobago itself. Her ancestry is a vital thread in understanding the woman she became. Her paternal great-grandfather, Pandit Ram Lakhan Mishra, had sailed from the village of Belupur in Buxar, Bihar, India, in 1889 as an indentured labourer brought to the Caribbean by the British colonial system. On her mother's side, her great-grandmother Sumaria hailed from Chennai in southern India. Their courage to cross oceans in search of opportunity planted the seeds of ambition and endurance that would run through the generations. In Trinidad, those descendants adapted to a new land while maintaining the cultural roots and spiritual values of their Indian heritage. Kamla's father, Chaco, and her mother, Rita, were ordinary people of extraordinary spirit, teaching their daughter that knowledge, honesty, and humility were worth more than any material wealth. Kamla spent her earliest years in Budu Trace, Penal, living with her parents and grandparents before the family moved to Siparia when she was 7. There, she attended Mohes Road Hindu School, Erin Road Presbyterian, and later Siparia Union Presbyterian Primary School. The young Kamla was known as a bright, determined child who would walk long distances each morning to reach school, her satchel swinging from her shoulder, often balancing her studies with household chores. Her grandfather, Kamla Persad, a sugar union activist, instilled in her an early sense of fairness and justice. His influence would later echo in her advocacy for equality and social protection in government. Her teachers recalled a quiet yet self-assured girl who questioned everything and absorbed knowledge like a sponge. Education was not just a path for Kamla. It was a lifeline, a way to uplift her family and community. Even as a teenager, she was ambitious enough to dream of studying abroad. At 16, she applied to study in England, but her family's conservative elders opposed the idea of a young girl leaving home alone. It was her mother, Rita, who finally persuaded them to let her go. In August 1969, at just 17, Kamla left Trinidad for London, marking the first great leap in her lifelong journey toward leadership. London was a new world, cold, busy, and starkly different from the warmth of Siparia. But Kamla adapted quickly. She studied at Norwood Technical College while working part-time as a social worker with the Church of England's Children's Society, caring for children and families in need. Those early years in social work taught her empathy and the complexities of human suffering, lessons she would later apply in her political career. Living in a foreign city, she learned to navigate adversity, prejudice, and loneliness, emerging more resilient and self-confident. It was during this period in London that she met the man who would become her lifelong companion, Dr. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, a young medical student from Trinidad. The two connected over their shared Caribbean roots and common values of service and ambition. They married in 1971, when Kamla was just 18 and Gregory was 22. The marriage would endure for more than 5 decades, a rare example of partnership and stability in public life. Throughout Kamla's career, Gregory has been her quiet strength, offering emotional and moral support as she pursued a demanding path. The couple later had a son, Chris, and built a family life grounded in faith, mutual respect, and shared purpose. After a few years in England, Kamla returned to the Caribbean to continue her studies. She enrolled at the University of the West Indies, UWI, Mona campus in Jamaica, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts, Hons degree in 1974, followed by a postgraduate diploma in education in 1976. Her years in Jamaica expanded her horizons. She was exposed to the wider Caribbean identity, to post-colonial ideas, and to the philosophy of regional unity. She later became one of the youngest lecturers at the University of the West Indies, teaching education and later serving as a consultant at Jamaica College of Insurance. Those who knew her then described her as both demanding and compassionate, with an extraordinary commitment to her students. By her mid-20s, Kamla was already an educator of note, but her ambitions extended further. She wanted to understand not just how people learned, but how societies functioned, how justice, governance, and opportunity could be built. That curiosity led her into law. She enrolled at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus, Barbados, where she earned her Bachelor of Laws degree with honors in 1985. 2 years later, she graduated from the Hugh Wooding Law School in Trinidad as one of the top students, earning the awards for Most Outstanding Student and Best Overall Performance. Her sharp intellect, discipline, and unrelenting work ethic became her trademarks. Over the following years, she balanced a growing legal career with public service and continuing education, eventually completing an executive MBA at the UWI Arthur Locke Jack Graduate School of Business in 2006. The combination of law, education, and business management gave her a multidimensional perspective, a rare asset in Caribbean politics. Kamla's entry into politics was almost inevitable. Her early exposure to social injustice, her family's unionist roots, and her legal background all converged in the late 1980s when she entered public life. In 1987, she became an alderwoman on the St. Patrick County Council under the National Alliance for Reconstruction, NAR, government. The experience was modest in scale, but invaluable. She learned the inner workings of local government and the daily struggles of ordinary citizens, farmers, teachers, vendors, whose voices often went unheard. Her major political breakthrough came in 1994 when she was appointed to the Senate of Trinidad and Tobago as a member of the United National Congress, UNC, founded by Bastio Panday. The following year, she contested the general election and was elected as the Member of Parliament for Siparia, a seat she would hold continuously for decades. That same year, she shattered a major glass ceiling by becoming Trinidad and Tobago's first female Attorney General. As Attorney General, Kamla brought both empathy and toughness to the office. She earned respect for her meticulous attention to legal reform and her commitment to improving justice delivery. Later, from 1999 to 2001, she served as Minister of Education, where she focused on expanding access to quality education and improving teacher training. Her time in that ministry reflected her lifelong belief that education was the great equalizer in society. By 2006, Kamla Persad-Bissessar had become one of the most prominent women in Caribbean politics. That year, she achieved another historic milestone when she was appointed the first female leader of the opposition in Trinidad and Tobago. Although she lost the position briefly in 2007, she returned to it in 2010 after being elected political leader of the UNC. Her leadership style was notably inclusive, measured yet firm, maternal yet strategic. In May 2010, she led the People's Partnership Coalition to a sweeping electoral victory, becoming the first woman to hold the office of Prime Minister in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Her rise was greeted with enthusiasm across the Caribbean and among the global Indian diaspora. Many saw in her story a living link between the indentured laborers of the 19th century and the empowered women of the 21st. Her first term as Prime Minister was marked by a focus on social development, education reform, and initiatives to strengthen women's participation in leadership. Kamla's leadership also emphasized compassion. She introduced several programs aimed at improving the welfare of underprivileged communities, including the Children's Life Fund, which provided financial assistance for medical treatment to children with life-threatening illnesses. Her administration also worked on improving infrastructure and promoting investment in energy and technology sectors, though her term was not without controversy or political challenges. In 2015, she lost the general election but retained her seat in Parliament, choosing to remain active as opposition leader rather than step away from politics. Even in opposition, she remained a formidable figure, continuing to champion causes such as women's rights, education, poverty reduction, and regional unity. Her ability to recover from political defeat demonstrated remarkable resilience and emotional strength. Few Caribbean politicians have managed to reinvent themselves after electoral loss the way she did. In 2025, Kamla Persad-Bissessar achieved a historic comeback, leading her party back to power and resuming office as Prime Minister on the 1st of May 2025. Her return to leadership was both a personal victory and a symbolic one, representing continuity, experience, and the trust of a public that had seen her steadfastness through the years. Please subscribe for more.